Institute of Counselling, Skills of Counselling. Tape 8, Action Skills, Endings, Evaluation and Referrals.
Today we've got a lot of ground to cover. In this final session we're going to look at how to end in counselling, recap on confidentiality, look at referrals and the process of evaluation. But before we look at these skills, I'd like to review another model which you may find helpful, as it can run in parallel with the three-phase model of explore, understand and act. It's a pastoral counselling model called Life of the Soul, or Life of the Client, developed by Charles Gherkin. The purpose of using this holistic model is to help the client interpret their story. The counsellor uses advanced empathy to move the client on in self-understanding. The model assists the counsellor to enter the world of the client, to assist the client in self-understanding and enabling the client to take action. The life of the client is informed by the three factors of self, society and belief systems. By informing the client, they will also colour the client's interpretation of what's happened or is happening to them.
So, genuine counselling has to deal with these deeper issues of interpretation and perception, and not just factual problems.
These three factors form a triangular relationship in all our lives, and every day all of us experience the tensions, complexities and struggles which exist between the three. However, when the client experiences a crisis situation, these three relationships feel out of balance and the client's world seems confused and mixed up. But there's a loop back here. It's the client's interpretation of the world which is mixed up, and this has been caused by the imbalance between the three relationships in the first place. If there's a conflict or tension in the relationships between self, society and belief systems, a crisis may arise in the life of the client. And the counsellor can use the model as a tool to get a feel for where the important tensions are in the life of the client. How does the client view themselves? How do others view the client? Is there low self-esteem coming through in what they say? How does the client view society? How does society view the client? And here we can ask ourselves if the client views society as just or unjust, secure or threatening, concerned or indifferent. And society could be the client's family members, or it could be forces at work in society like the government, the labour market, or the housing market. How does the client view belief systems significant to them? And how does their belief system view them? Are they condemned by their belief systems, or are they liberated by their belief systems?
Earlier on, you mentioned the girl who came to see you, who went on to become a bank clerk. Tell me more about the stuff it brings up for you.
I think it's the way she seemed so boxed in by it all. Even though she did sort of find a way out, I remember how I felt boxed in, in the same way.
It's almost as if your way out. But tell me about your way out, Nazreen.
I did struggle and fight really hard to be able to carry on with my studies. I managed to make the right decision.
Who were you struggling with, Nazreen?
Well, it's difficult. My parents, I suppose.
So maybe they wanted something different for you?
Yes. Maybe they did want something different. Oh, I sort of didn't turn out as they'd expected. I felt I had to make a choice.
It seems almost as if you had to make a choice between what your parents or your family wanted, their values, and being yourself. Being Nazreen. Getting the education, getting the job, And now, perhaps, you're realizing the high price you had to pay to make that choice.
Yes, that's right. I did have to make a choice. It was a real struggle. Sometimes I feel as if I'm still fighting.
Who are you fighting?
Myself. I suppose I'm fighting with myself. Sometimes I wonder if this is the real me or if I'm missing out.
What do you feel as if you're missing?
Sometimes I feel as if my whole life is being caught up in teaching, and that I'm missing out on other things. Being a woman is more than just being a teacher.
So you want more for yourself, as a woman?
Yes, maybe I do. I do want more. Maybe I need to think some more about that.
And that's just about time to stop now, Nazreen. We've talked about your relationship with your parents, your struggle to become a teacher, the choices you had to make, and how you feel about yourself. There are a lot of issues there. And maybe if you'd like us to meet again, we can talk about your hopes and your expectations for yourself.
Yes, I'd like to talk again. This has been very helpful for me. It's made me think about what I want for myself.
Throughout this course, we've been looking at Egan's three-phase model of self-exploration, understanding and action by the client. Exploration forms the foundations, understanding is built on exploration, and action is built on top of this. Now we can add a fourth phase to the three existing phases. After exploration, understanding and action, we can evaluate. Evaluation can take place at the end of each session, if appropriate. It assists the client in checking what progress they've made, deciding on subsequent actions, and moving themselves forward. And the client can also evaluate the counsellor. Was he or she of any help? Now, George and Kathy have a counselling situation they've been preparing in role play. Right, over to you.
Well, George, our time is just about up. You came to see me feeling very depressed about the death of your mother. We looked at a number of issues: the loneliness you were experiencing, the sense of loss, the question about whether she ever let you grow up, and the worries about the future.
Yes, that's right.
Well, we've taken the loneliness and the sense of loss, and we've worked through that. You managed to come up with 3 positive ways of meeting more people. Next week, if you feel comfortable with this, we'll look at these questions about your relationship with her.
Yes, I would like to come back. In fact, I feel it has been a help to talk with you.
Well, fine. I'll see you next Thursday, same time. Goodbye, George.
Good. You did a nice summary to focus the ending with, and you reviewed the work you felt had been achieved in the session. You brought it round to what might happen in the next session, and you concluded well. So let's go on to our second point, referrals. Again, these can take place at any stage in counselling. And the first thing to say is that it's a sign of your competence, not your incompetence, when you decide to refer your client, as long as there's a good reason for doing so, which the client can agree with as well as yourself. To be able to refer with confidence, the counsellor must build up a referring network and must personally vet it. The client must feel reassured by this new referral, not that they're being passed from one indifferent helper to another. And the client should still feel they're in control of the process, and the counsellor will be aware that some situations will involve professional specialist help in perhaps a variety of areas. For example, a short letter can often be an effective way to refer, and I think Jackie's got an example for us. Jackie?
Dear Dr. Smith, re Mrs. Jones. My client has been attending this centre for 6 weeks, and her condition seems to require your assistance. The facts are that she came to see me suffering from panic attacks. I am referring her to you so she can have medical treatment for her depression. We have agreed she will carry on seeing myself whilst receiving medical treatment. Many thanks for your help in this matter. Yours sincerely, Jackie.
Good, Jackie. However, be careful not to tell the doctor what medical treatment the client should or shouldn't have. This is an unprofessional approach to tell the doctor what to do, and we have to be aware of our boundaries as counsellors. Now, I'd like to summarise on the issue of confidentiality. Many students coming into counselling for the first time have the idea that they should be honour-bound to complete and total confidentiality. No. Instead of this idea, which is unrealistic, counsellors should discuss and agree with clients at the pre-counselling stage exactly what the boundaries of confidentiality are going to be, and this then fits into an ethical framework or code for counsellors to operate within. If you feel the agreed boundaries of confidentiality are becoming unworkable, your first step, where practicable, should be to renegotiate these boundaries with the client and perhaps discuss the matter with your supervisor. It's good practice to discuss the client's case without giving out personal details which can identify the client, such as names. Share the case, but don't share the client. Okay, so we'll leave the subject there, bearing in mind that it's your responsibility to familiarise yourself with the specific policy of your own organisation and to be aware of the BAC guidelines.
Liz, there's a letter for you.
Oh, thanks. Dear Liz, thank you for your help in the last few weeks. I realise that the dream is something
to do with the unfinished business, as you put it, at the hospital. I know I have to put it behind me and forgive. But at the moment, I somehow don't feel able to do this. I think I'm going to leave it for the time being.
I'm going to leave it for the time being, Jean. Oh, well, I respect her decision. I think we could have done more together, but she has to make her own choice. Maybe she'll come back later. Andy and Mary, you came to me with a number of issues to work through. Mary's lateness for work, the way you and Andy related to one another, the financial insecurities, and your separate roles within the home. Well, we've worked through a number of points regarding your relationship, and you've drawn up an action plan to tackle the financial problems. You're both telling me that you feel more able to work together. Now, Mary being late for work doesn't seem to be an issue anymore.
You've helped us see that there's been a lot missing in our relationship, and things are improving already. We both agree that this marriage enrichment weekend, here's the brochure, could benefit us a great deal. We've still got a lot to learn.
Yes, I think the weekend should be really helpful. I expect it'll be hard work, though. Still, the main thing is we're talking and communicating with each other in a way that for a long time, well, it just didn't seem to happen. Thanks, Liz.
It's good that you're taking decisions together. From what I know, there will be plenty of challenges ahead. You've both worked hard with each other. I'm happy to end our counselling sessions at this point and leave you knowing that you can refer yourself back if later you want us to work together again.
Now, the model of explore, understand and act has been presented to you as the basis of counselling, and it's been presented as a linear model which falls neatly into 3 phases. Back to reality. In real life, very few people tick like this. The model is to give us some sense of direction and purpose as we work with the client. However, it'll be quite unusual if we progress neatly from A to C via B. Now, in practice, we'll find ourselves moving backwards and forwards between the different phases, with the client and the counsellor exploring different issues as they come up. Everyone will be different. So we need to work with a person-centred agenda rather than trying to fit the person into our neat theoretical packages. Now, what I hope you've learned on this course on counselling skills is the theory of the problem-solving model explore, understand and act. Through the workshop sessions, you will have started to learn them not only intellectually, but also from a practical point of view. And the next steps will be practicing the skills in further training classes and then working under supervision with real clients. And then a lifetime of learning and developing. I hope you feel your attendance here has been worthwhile, and thank you for coming.
Waterside. Good afternoon. Which department, please?
Liz, you know I saw Mary has been late again.
Really, David? How many times?
Oh, I think it was once over the last 5 weeks. Something about a traffic jam. You see, her husband's dropping her off for work now.
Once over the last 5 weeks. It seems to me that this is a vast improvement, David, wouldn't you say? Rome wasn't built in a day. How about congratulating her on the improvement instead of griping onto me about the one instance of lateness?
You know, she did used to be late every day. I was thinking maybe John should be sent along to see if Liz can work her magic on him as well.
The only magic available to me is the hard work put in by the clients. Anyway, it'll have to wait for a while. I'm on holiday for 2 weeks.
What? I thought you counsellors were supposed to be full of compassion. You can't take a holiday? Anyway, where are you going?
Somewhere nice, Dave. Somewhere very nice. You know, I may even send you a postcard.
How could you improve your existing referral network or techniques? Where do the boundaries of confidentiality lie in your counselling situation? How comfortable are you with ending counselling relationships?